Hello everybody, and welcome to the Singlify Winter 22 release webinar. My name is Guy Clairbois. I'm the CTO of Singlify, and today I'll be showing you all the functionality that we've built in our Winter 22 release. I will be assisted by Ivy Wainaina, our head of engineering, and Matt Morris, our lead Salesforce consultant. Before we dive into the detailed functionality, I'd first like to do an organizational update, because over the last 6 months, we've taken our product development team in-house, which is great news. During the first years of Singlify, we worked with an offshore development team in order to be flexible and be able to grow quickly. Now we have an established customer base. It was about time for us to take our product development fully in-house. So we've built a new team based in Nairobi, Kenya. And over the last 6 months, multiple people have joined the team, obviously. The team is led by Ivy Wainaina, which I already introduced to you. And then we have Andrew Kimuge, who is our QA engineer, and also Herbert Kalule as a senior developer, and Simon Wangi also as a senior developer. There's also Sergey Danilyuk, who has been with us from the start and will still be with us for a while to ensure a fully seamless transition to the new team. Welcome everybody. Okay, let's go and dive into the release. A short recap of the process in which we do our releases. We have a yearly release cycle with 3 releases a year, 1 in winter, 1 in spring, and 1 in summer. With this, we try to sort of follow the Salesforce release cycle. They have the same rhythm, and our releases are usually 1 month after the main Salesforce release. So we're currently in February, so we've just completed our winter release, which is ready for deployment to the customers. When we release new software, there are 3 different statuses that the software can have, which you can see at the right side of the screen. We have software that's in pilot, with functionality that's in beta, and most of the functionality is in GA, as we call it, which means it's generally available to everybody. So let me give a short explanation of these statuses, because you will see them coming back later on in the presentation. Pilot phase means that we are testing and building new functionality with a small subset of customers. The customers help us to fine-tune the functionality and to get to something that is useful by everybody. But this, the functionality that is in pilot is not supported. So it's just, you should not use this for your business critical processes. The next stage is beta. And also beta is not available by default to all the customers. It requires enabling by Singlify. And also in beta, we provide limited support. And the functionality that you will have will either be not fully functional or not fully finished yet. So also this is not to be used for business critical functionality, but it's used to fully test the functionality and to ensure that we are building the right thing. And then the last stage obviously is GA. In this case, the functionality is formally included in a Singlify release. It's fully functional and of course fully supported by Singlify. So for the Winter 22 release, we are working according to the schedule, which repeats 3 times a year. As you can see, we've been developing the release for just over 4 months and then have deployed it already to customer sandboxes. And we're now ready to start deploying it to customer orgs on February 9th. On the top, you can see the main milestones that we've reached. So at the beginning of January, we published our draft release notes on the Singlify support side. And on mid-January, we deployed to the customer sandboxes for testing, not to all sandboxes, but just to a number of customers that have indicated that they want to get early access to the functionality. Then right now we're doing the release webinar, and next week we'll be ready for production release. So let's get into the content of the Winter 22 release. We've put the main highlights here on this sheet. So as you can see, they're organized in 4 main modules: loan and grant origination, loan servicing, fund and investor management, and social impact reporting. We are building new functionality based on the requirements and the roadmaps that our customers have, which explains that most of the new functionality is in the top 2 modules, because that's just where we had most of the demands during this release. So on loan and grant origination, we've developed contact rules, which enables you to store different contacts and different rules in your application process. We have a pilot for file management, so a tool to help you better manage your files during the origination process. And we've also run a pilot for open banking, which enables you to connect your customers' banking information and use it in the origination process. In the loan servicing module, we've further extended our line of credit functionality. We've implemented full multi-currency support for all loans. We'll continue to work on our accounting subledger pilot, and we've made huge improvements in bulk transaction processing. And then on the fund and investor management area, we've implemented guarantee funds. For all of these pieces of functionality, we will have a dedicated slide with some more details and a short demo where applicable. So let's start with contact rules. Contact rules enable you to capture the different contacts with their associated roles that are part of the application or the investment. This enables you to capture who is working on an application from your internal team, but also from the client's perspective. It also enables your clients to see who are their main contact persons. So let us show you how this works. Ivy is going to give a live demo. Go ahead, Ivy.
Contact rules enable you to capture key contacts that are part of the origination and the loan process. To begin using this functionality, have your Salesforce administrator add them to the related list as well as your quick links. And you're good to go. So to begin, hover over your contact rules, click on the new button. You could search for an existing contact, or you can create one on the fly by clicking on the new contact. So I'll be using an existing contact. Please note that the system has automatically filled that this contact belongs to application 1, as you can see, and then you indicate the role of this particular contact in the company. So I'm going to say that this is a decision maker, and then hit save. It's that simple.
Thank you, Ivy. Let's continue with the next piece of new functionality, which is document management. So we are building a module by which you can track and store files that belong to an application or investment, or any other object for that matter, in a structural way. So we allow you to track different document types, like signed contracts, master service agreements, or any other type that you can define yourself. We'll have integrated document versioning, so keeping track of different versions of the signed contracts. We'll enable the collection or sharing of the documents on client portals, and also enable you to add your own custom fields to the documents. Please note that this functionality is currently in pilot mode. We're building and designing it together with a small number of customers. If you're really interested and want to be involved, please reach out to your Singlify representative. Also for document management, we prepared a demo for you. Matt is going to present. Go ahead, Matt.
In this video, I'm going to show you a new document management feature. Here you can see I have an application record. I've created a Files tab so the user can find files related to this application record. If I select this, you'll see that I don't see the standard files related list. Instead, we see this new component. From here, I can upload a new file. Give it a title and a description. I can select a document type and a status. And then, if you have a customer portal, we can determine whether this file would be shared with the customer. If I select Save, we'll see that this file is now listed here, and we can see information about the file, its type, its status, whether it requires signing, where the file has come from, this could be the application, or uploaded by the user, and whether it's shared with the customer. If I select this file, I can then update it. I can upload a new version or update the title, description, type, status, and unshare it with the customer.
Thank you, Matt. So let's continue with the next new functionality. It's open banking. So we recently integrated a third-party app called Bank Connect into our origination module. This offers advanced new possibilities to your origination process. Firstly, it offers customers the option to share their bank details with you, and then automatically authenticate a bank account and pull bank transactions and balances into Singlify. It also allows you to verify the identity of the client, and it includes integrated analysis of the client's financial data. As you can see, this functionality is also in pilot mode. We're building it together with a small number of customers, so contact us if you want to get involved. Matt is on a roll, so he will also do the next live demo. Go ahead.
In this video, I'm going to show how you can use the third-party app Bank Connect to pull your customer's banking history data into Singlify. Here you can see an application record. I'm going to select the button Bank Verification Request. It's pre-populated the contact details of the customer. I'm going to select which product I want to get from the customer. This has created a bank verification record which can trigger the sending of an email to the customer for their authorization. I'm going to simulate this by selecting this URL. The customer will review the details of the agreement using the app and select Continue. They will then select their bank and then enter in their user credentials. We return to the bank verification record, and here, if we refresh the page, we will see that the bank verification has been authorized, and we can select the Analysis tab where there will be insights that can drive your users' decision making.
Thanks again, Matt. Okay, let's continue with the next subject, which is line of credit. In the summer 21 release, we introduced our new line of credit product, an extension of the existing open-ended loan product. And we've now further extended the functionality of line of credit by adding periodic monitoring fees to the line of credit charge transactions, which means you can now periodically charge not only interest charges but also monitoring fee charges to the customer. And we've added additional scheduling options for those charge transactions, so we can now schedule them on the last day of a month, quarter, or year. The line of credit product is now fully completed and it's ready for production use. I myself will give a live demo. In this video I'll show you the enhancements we made to our line of credit functionality. From our previous releases, you might remember line of credit is the new name for open-ended loans. And by line of credit we mean that there is a loan without a predefined schedule. So you can make disbursements and repayments freely to this loan, and interest is calculated based on the current outstanding amounts of the loan. So what we've added in this release are charge transactions, as we call them. The charge transactions enable you to periodically charge your customers interest and or monitoring fees that have been calculated on the line of credit. In order to configure charge transactions, we've added some new options to the loan screen. Go there you go. There is a new checkbox to generate charge transactions. There are two different ways to charge the charge transactions. You can actually charge them to the customer by generating a transaction, which you can use, for instance, to set up a direct debit, or you can deduct them from the loan balance, which means your loan principal balance will be increased with the charges. We've also made some changes on determining the date of the charge transactions. There are three ways to do that. You can base it on the first disbursement date, so that would be periodically after the first disbursement date. It can be the fixed day in a period, for instance, the first day in the period, first day in the month, or 10th day in the month, or it can be the last day of the period. This is the option that we selected now. Period is defined as what is set up here in the repayment frequency. So if the repayment frequency is 3 months, then last day of period will mean each last day of a 3-month calendar period. In this case, it will result in the next charge date of March 31st, because we're currently in February 2022. So let me show you how this works out in the actual transactions on the loan level. Go back to the loan. You see that this is a line of credit loan for an amount of 17,500 euros, and until now 10,000 euros have been disbursed. It also has interest, 12%, and monitoring fees, 1%. So let's look at the effect of this on the actual loan transactions. We go to the related list of transactions. We see obviously the disbursement on 14th of January of 10,000 euros. This results in a loan balance of 10,000 euros. Then there are 4 sets of transactions, each dated on the last day of the quarter. So let's have a look at this first set. It consists of 2 transactions, one containing the interest amount and the monitoring fee amount accrued up until that date, and the other is adding those accrued amounts to the loan balance, which means that in the next quarter, interest accrual will be based on the updated loan balance. So it means you pay interest over interest. Alternatively, you can use the other mechanism of generating transactions. That will result in only one transaction each quarter, the top one, but states will not be received, but it will, for instance, be planned, so you can do a direct debit of these amounts to the customer. We'll continue now with the next subject, which is multi-currency support. So we've built in support for multi-currency across the whole Singlify system. So you can now manage multiple loans or grants in different currencies. Currencies are defined on loan product and on fund level. And currently, the currencies need to match between your fund, your loan product, and your investment. If you want to use this functionality, We'll need to activate multi-currency and Salesforce. Make sure you read up about that before considering this change to your system, because it can have quite some consequences. For multi-currency, we don't have a demo, as there's not really much to show. If you're interested in exploring this further, we'll be happy to guide you. The next feature I'd like to discuss is accounting Subledger. So we have already been working on this for a while. We started this in autumn 21. And as you might understand, it is quite complex. That's why we chose to keep it in pilot mode during the Winter 22 release, while we extend the functionality with additional functions to cover the full width of loan accounting requirements. In Winter 22, we've added a couple of new functionalities, mainly around capturing setup fees deducted from principal, around capturing line of credit charge transactions that we just saw in the line of credit presentation, and we changed the naming convention of general ledger accounts, which you can see here at the screenshot. General ledger account names now are a combination of the code and the description. This makes it really easy to see the right mapping of your general ledger accounts. If you're interested in building and designing this together with us, please get in touch with your Singlify representative. And let's go to the next subject, which is bulk transaction processing. Singlify is growing quickly, and we're adding more and more larger customers, which made it extra important to be able to process large volumes of transactions coming in from banks or other sources. So we've made a number of improvements aimed at providing better resilience and performance in case of high volumes of loans and transactions. Some examples of this are differentiating between immediate handling for single manual transactions and asynchronous processing for large bulk loads. We also made some improvements in error handling and preventing database locking on the Salesforce platform. The next enhancement to discuss is guarantee funds. We already had functionality around guarantees. We have the possibility to track guarantees against your investment. And in Winter 22, we're adding guarantee fund functionality. This means we now have the ability to group securities funded from the same source together. This will make it easier to report on and manage the guarantee fund. And also it enables validations on a guarantee fund usage, for instance, enabling protection against exceeding guarantee fund limits. This last demo will be done by Ivy as well. Go ahead, Ivy.
Guarantee funds make it easy to manage and monitor loan securities that are funded from the same source. Let us now create this relationship between the guarantee fund, loan security, and loan so that we can see how you can actually monitor from the guarantee fund. So go to your guarantee funds, click on the new button, give it a name. So this will just be test fund. I'm going to give it a size of 1 million. I'm going to say that it started on 1st of February and it will end on 31st December. I'm just going to hit save. Okay, so we have our guarantee fund in place. I'll now navigate to our loan to be able to create the loan security. So I'll go to the related tab. Under loan securities, I'll click on new. I'll say that the loan security I'm creating is for a guarantor. I'll give it a name, so it will be just security. I'll give it an amount, so I'll say it will be covered for the entire amount, which was 27,000. I'll say it's an institution. I can capture the name of that institution. In this instance, I'm going to use bucket account. This guarantor has been confirmed. And then here is where I'm going to then tag it to our fund, which was test fund. Then I'm going to hit save. So what will happen is that every night the system will run an automation and it will then populate the guarantee fund with the amounts that have been consumed. And I will now navigate to the test fund to show you that. We'll now refresh the guarantee fund page, and we can now see that the guarantee volume used is 27,000 because our loan had already been disbursed, and so far the amount that has been defaulted is zero because we don't have a loan that's defaulted. And that's how you would use the guarantee fund.
Thank you, Ivy. This concludes the overview of the main new items in our Winter 22 release. I still have a small list of improvements I would like to go over with you. The first one of which is a new type of interest charge calculation. It's based on declining balance. We already had the mechanism to calculate a schedule based on declining balance with equal installments, where installments are equal across the whole loan period. In case of declining balance, the principal amount is equal across all the installments, but the interest is just based on the remaining principal amount that is still owed. The second other improvement is in internal transfers. So when a loan is transferred via an internal transfer, we do not charge setup fees on the disbursement of the new loan, independent of whether or not setup fees are set up on the loan product of the new loan. The third other improvement is in loan disbursements. It's a small new functionality where if you plan a new disbursement for a loan with full disbursement at start, you now have the ability to remove the planned disbursement. The last one is on monitoring fees. So we used to always calculate monitoring fees based on the total disbursed amount, resulting in increasing monitoring fees depending on how much you had disbursed for the loan. We now also support monitoring fees based on the contracted loan amount, so independent from whether or not you have disbursed this amount. The start date for monitoring fees is still the same as the first disbursement date. Okay, let's now have a look at our upcoming release, Spring 22, that will be available at the beginning of June. Anything that is on this sheet is subject to safe harbor statement. People that sometimes watch Salesforce presentations will be familiar with this. Safe harbor implies that nothing that is shown here is guaranteed, so you should not base any purchasing decisions on this functionality. It is meant as a guide for you to know what is coming up, and also to ask for your help and assistance if you feel like you could be helping us setting new functionality up the right way. So as you might have noticed, a fifth new module has been added to the core Singlify package, which is called Mentoring and Training. So in the Spring 22 release, you will see the first pieces of this appearing in the shape of a mentoring module and a training module, by which you can capture mentoring relationships, mentor sessions, and training sessions with your investees. If we go back to the top, you'll see that file management and open banking move from pilot to beta. So we will not have this generally available yet, but we will expand this functionality further. Also, we will building in contract conditions, which is a way to create a structured way of capturing the conditions on your contract. On the loan servicing area, we are working on loan locking or pausing, which enables you to lock a loan and temporarily disabling late repayment fees or interest accrual. We'll also be building an APR calculation module, which allows you to calculate APR on an individual loan. Accounting Subledger is planned to go into beta, so one step closer to becoming generally available. We will be working on early repayment fee automation, which will enable you to set fixed early repayment fees and connect those to the early repayment functionality in Singlify. And we'll be working on a recovery management pilot, which will help you to set up and manage your recovery manage process. So again, none of this is guaranteed to be included in Spring 21 release. If you want to have more information about a specific functionality that is coming up, please do get in touch. And that is for anything that was in this presentation. So get in touch with your Singlify representative or contact me directly. And I'd also like to point out again that our full product documentation and also the complete release notes are available on our support site, support.singlify.co.uk. So with this, I'd like to end the presentation. Thank you very much for your attendance, and I hope to speak to you soon.